On May 1st, 1274, supposedly, a young boy with dark curly hair and large, thoughtful eyes joined his parents at a gathering of Florence's leading families to celebrate the arrival of primavera, spring. The holiday was one of many that affirmed the city's growing and increasingly combative civic pride and sense of destiny. Created by Julius Caesar, the one-time remote military camp Florencia had now become Firenze, blooming flower, a fitting name for one of the largest cities in Europe, with a population of nearly 100,000, which had chosen the three-pronged lily as its cherished symbol. Florence was also one of the world's wealthiest urban centers, as was clear from the grand setting where the boy and his fellow celebrants gathered. Folco Portinari's home stood in the heart of the original Roman city, close to the Cathedral of Santa Reparata on Florence's sacred axis, a consecrated block of Christian worship where one day its looming Duomo would rise. The house was paid for by Portinari's profits in banking, the nascent industry that, along with the wool and silk trades, would transform Florence into an economic juggernaut. The narrow cobblestone streets surrounding the Portinari estate would have been unusually quiet that day. Normally, they hummed with the clatter of looms weaving wool and silk into sumptuous garments, and the rumbling of vendors' carts conveying goods to the city's open-air markets, while ringing with the echoes of songs from servants and housewives washing clothes along the banks of the River Arno. But holidays meant rest for all in this socially stratified city, whether or not they were lucky enough to receive an invitation to the Portinari feast. Beckoned by such prestigious events, aristocratic women, often with their hair pulled back high upon their foreheads in the severe-looking style of the day, would emerge from the courtyards of their family towers and walk with heads raised and profiles turned, making eye contact with no one, accompanied by retinues of bodyguards who would shield them from the mud flung by wagons and the searching arms of beggars. Their homes seemed as unapproachable and impregnable as the women themselves, sandstone palazzi fronted by imposing gates and huge wooden doors, radiating the tension between openness and closure, cosmopolitanism and closed-mindedness that defined the city. The writers and craftsmen of Florence would soon gain renown throughout Europe, but its collective gaze was always turned inward, especially when it came to rivalries among leading families like the Portinari. Disagreements and disputes could quickly escalate into bloody combat in the streets. The most prominent clans had turned their homes into private military bases, replete with their own militia and munitions, giving the city the look of a miniature Manhattan from a distance, as its fortified towers dominated the Tuscan skyline. The dreamy boy's family lived near the Portinari in a much more modest setting. His Maggiori, ancestors, descended from ancient Roman stock and included a warrior in the First Crusade.